Good morning. Resistance to change. It's really quite something when we get locked into a battle with knowing what feels right for us and then having all these thoughts and feelings that occur in connection with this idea of making changes in our lives, whether they be really big changes or minor, tiny little changes. We can definitely let this run the show, and it can become almost feel impossible to make the choices and decisions that we know intuitively and instinctively we need to make for ourselves. And this can actually make us sick. It can create this situation of not only dis-ease within the mind, but dis-ease within the body. So how it affects us on a physical, chemical, emotional and mental level is really important to discuss, to bring up, to create that awareness, because we can quite easily in life, when decisions feel hard to make, have a wonderfully structured belief system that allows us to just use blame as a defense mechanism as to why we don't take action for ourselves, why we are not true to ourselves, why we are not taking action in our lives, even though we know instinctively it's the right thing to do. We can use blocks such as finances, we can use blocks such as a relationship, children, parents, whatever it is. We can accumulate so many things to put obstacles in the way, but that feeling of truly knowing what is right for you doesn't fade. It doesn't go. You can try and dull out the senses, and a wonderful way of doing that can be that habitual glass of wine in the evening, or perhaps going to the gym and training, just constantly doing, so you don't allow yourself to actually sit with your emotions and acknowledge how you feel. Now, I'm someone who has definitely done this many times in my life, where I should have made decisions and choices for myself much earlier on. I never believe in mistakes. I mean, the very meaning of the word is you miss something and you take it again. You've got another opportunity to see things differently, and you evolve from those situations. So everything's very necessary for your growth. And what I have found in the last 3 years, which has significantly made a huge difference to my life when it comes to these situations, is number one, communication with myself and questioning those belief systems, not to the point of over analytics where I am literally driving myself into that state of like the washing machine head syndrome, but doing things really easy, things like journaling how I'm feeling. And the truth always comes out for me in this way. This process works for me because sometimes, if we go to, even if it's a counsellor and it's professional, and you have a relationship with that person where what you're saying is not going to be shared with anyone else, there's a part of you that fears judgment, and there's a part of you that can feel too scared to still voice the words that are truly in your heart here, because it's that recognition. So when you write, it's like you just pour those emotions onto the page. And when you can truly let go and pour emotions onto the page, that analytical mind can switch off, and the truth of how you're really feeling can feel revealed to you. And then from that, it's normal to feel feelings attached to that. So maybe something can make you feel anxious because you're like, oh, now I've got to make those changes. They're big changes. And another thing we can do is we can look for distraction in order to stop us making those changes, or to just actually years later discover that what you did in that process of change was repeat patterns to come back to the start of where you needed to make the changes in the first place, which is wonderful, because you're like, oh, I recognise this point I'm at again. And it's a wonderful opportunity to grow. You're always growing. We're meant to grow. We're meant to evolve. We're meant to learn. And when we get really stagnant and stuck in our emotions and everything can feel completely overwhelming, then, you know, we do feel depressed. We do feel fearful. We do feel like we don't have options and choices. But that's simply locked into a belief system that you have so wonderfully and intricately organised, and also been affected by, you know, the expectations of others, and, you know, perhaps your family values, perhaps societal values. So journaling, number one, fabulous way that I found. Number two is breath work. In particular, long deep breathing for me is something that really allows me to step into the stillness of the now, which truly connects me to the reality of what is, and not going into the future and trying to read the crystal ball of what could happen when I make these choices, because there's always that point at which, when you're jumping from a cliff, if you're doing, you know, if you've done a bungee jump or a skydive, or you've done something in your life that's hugely challenged you, hugely pushed you beyond your comfort limit, there's the utter, like, oh my goodness, that what if feeling. But trusting your instinct, trusting what your heart, what your gut is communicating with you, is vital to your growth. And we are so conditioned to letting our logical brain make all the decisions for us, that this disconnection, this simple fact that we have three brains and not one, we have a gut brain and we have a heart brain, they are meant to work together. You're not meant to drown those out with substances or constantly be doing to distract you from how you're feeling, because you're always going to feel. You were meant to feel, because those feelings, and I say it many times, are guides in your life. They are the truth tellers. They are guiding you on the path that is exclusively the purpose of you, your purpose, what you're meant to do for yourself. And it does take trust to step forward and believe, and a lot of courage to believe in yourself to do this. But to live a life that is joyful and liberating is to step into the truth of who you truly are. I would love to share so much more with you, and you're more than welcome to drop me a message or organise a consultation with me. But yeah, there's no hiding from the truth of who you are. We can try and drown it out for so long, but it's always there. Those emotions are always there for a reason. So listen to your heart. Allow your head to do what it was meant to do. Work in harmony with your gut brain, those gut instincts, and the heart, the truth of you. And I don't want to tell you what to do. I don't like it when I say listen to. It feels too instructional, but just feel into what feels right for you. But know that you are so wonderfully, magnificently designed to have these complexities. But when you know how to work with them, when you know how to silence this and see that panoramic perspective in life becomes what it was meant to be, a gift for us all to grow, to learn, and to evolve from together. supporting, loving together, when we make the changes that we need to ourselves, it has such a ripple effect on all lives around us. We are told in society that it's selfish to put yourself first. It's selfish to do that. How do you think that, you're not going to see your kids if you do that, or you're not going to spend enough time with your partner if you do that, or you're going to sacrifice something in order to put yourself first. But in these, what people may deem as sacrificial states, you are stepping into the truth of who you are, and anybody who is meant to join you on that journey will join you on that journey. And when we step into our true potential, we radiate out on a different frequency, and we attract like for like. We attract more positivity and light into our lives. And actually, those people that can fear it, because nobody really likes change, it's uncomfortable, but they can feel inspired by you, truly inspired. And if they're not ready to make changes for themselves, it can make them feel uncomfortable because they're not ready. And it's no one's job to tell you when you're ready. You just know. Trust is everything. Feeling into how you truly feel is such a gift. Feelings are a gift. Anyway, 11 minutes and 43 seconds. Love you. Sat Nam.